Hey everyone. So, Karuk Ruben. I'm doing this presentation regarding to introduction to data. So, in this case, we'll be talking more about big data. So, I want us to get introduced to big data. So, in the previous sessions, we had talked about data. Now we're talking more about big data. And what is this big data we're talking about? So before even we get started to big data, I want us to see how data can improve your business, or even maybe uh, your workplace in this case. So in this case we're talking of business. So number one improvement that we are going to talk about is improving marketing strategies. So based on the data, based on the type of data you collect, it can be easier to find attractive and innovative marketing strategies. So in this case, we're talking of, like, depending on the data. For example, if you collect most of the time what we call customers data, in this case, this is a qualitative type of data. If this is the data that you collect most of the time, there is high probability that you're going to understand your customers, maybe the product that they prefer. So in this case, you can come up with personalization of product, for example, depending on your understanding of the customer's information. So this would be of great impact when it comes to marketing. We also have things like data can assist you identify the pain points. These are the weaknesses in your organization or the businesses. You are able to identify where you are making losses, where you are making profits. So, and also you have ways on how to mitigate these problems. Number three, we are talking of detecting frauds. So in the absence of proper data management, fraud can run rampant and serious affect business success. So in this case, for example, I'll just give an example of, for example, an e-commerce business where maybe you sell particular products, or a retail business where you sell goods to customers. For example, let's say we sold 100 TVs, but now the guy who is responsible for storing those information just come to reporting, and just the guy communicate to you and that he sold 80. But in this case, if you don't have data, 20 will be missing. So you'll be making like 20 uh, will be missing as a business owner, or as a CEO. You'll not be able to know what happened to those 20. But in case you are using data, in that case you have the records of what is happening. It's very easy for you to detect everything, or the processes, how they're going. So it's good to have all your information stored in a good databases where you can retrieve the information, you can ask questions, and you get answers at the same time. It can also be useful in identifying data breaches. With the availability of data streams ever increasing, it creates another problem when it comes to fraudulent processes. When talking of data breaches, we're talking of data hackers. There's this guy who try to enter into a system. They want to get your information. For example, there are guys who share certain links. When you click those links, there is high probability that if you have some particular information in your phone related to your account, you might end up losing your money, because these are guys try to confiscate your information. In this case, it can also be used to help to improve customer experience. We are talking of understanding the customer's needs, in this case, by having the customer's data. In this case, for example, this is most prevalent in the businesses that are operating the world. For example, you must be dealing with customers. So if you are able to understand your customers' need in this case, and also the problem they are facing, you're able to resolve those problems. You're able to provide the best services. In this case, you end up improving the customer experience. At the same time, you end up increasing the revenue generation, or the productivity of the company in this case. So making decisions, for example, many important decisions about a business require data about market, trade, customers. Nowadays we say you don't just make your own conclusions. So your conclusions or your decisions must be supported by facts in this case. So it must be supported by data. So you're also talking of hiring. So saying of hiring processes. So data can assist you to like make this process so efficient and so fast. Because, for example, just consider you 1,000 people applied for 1,000 candidates applied for a certain position. So I don't think there will be enough time for you for HR to go through all those applications and be able to identify the best student. The best thing that could be done is to use these AI generated tools that are using data to understand the best, or to figure out who is the best candidate for a certain position, some kind of thing. So these are just some of those areas where data can improve our businesses. We also have, there are many areas, because data is now the new oil, as we're talking at the moment. So we are talking of big data. This now was the topic of today. Those were just the importance. So big data. So what is big data? In short, big data is a large amount of data that are gathered in order to be analyzed. So you have a lot of information, big information that you have gathered in a certain database. Then you are ready to analyze this information, and when you analyze this information, you're able to get insights and facts that can be used to assist you to make decisions depending on the data that you collected. So the data and what will be learned from it will become how companies compete and grow. So this data, the data that you collect, so because we said it is paid with the company's data, or what the company, the model of the business. So depending on the data the company will gather, it will now determine how the companies grow and compete with the other companies in this case. So as times have changed, we are getting more and more excited about the amount of data that we are generating, mining and storing. So we are saying currently we have a lot of information, a lot of data that is being generated daily, and not even daily, seconds. So we were saying like in the past 2 years, that is 2021, or even we're trying to say like in the coming years, like the amount of data that is generated today, by 2026, the amount that is generated today will be double of that amount. So we have a lot of information that is being generated in the current state that we are. So from the data we can find patterns that will become more will be better informed for future decisions, because you're saying this information will help us make decisions, will make us become more innovative, deciding on the product that we can introduce to the market. So productivity will be greatly improved as these significant revenue will be created in the economy where the world, because of increasing the quality of services on the product, reducing waste. So in this case, we are trying to use data to help us increase efficiency. So where maybe we need to reduce amount of waste that we have been maybe taking out of the company. So we want to know even how we can use that waste to make other products, innovative things, or innovative products that can bring us money or can help us grow or help the community in this case. So in the present, we can look back at the trend in IT innovation and investment. We can also see the impact on productivity and the competitions that have resulted from those trends, and how big data can make large changes in our modern lives. So we're talking of like we have all seen the importance of big data or living data, and we are seeing that the impact that this data will have in our life in the future, and also at the moment how this data is of great importance as we're speaking. So we also have advantages of big data now. So number one, this big data is a new method of generating profit. So we're talking of, if you're able to use data well, the data that you have, you're in a better position to make profit, because you become more innovative in this case. Because for example, if you're able to have customers' data, you're able to understand their needs, and by understanding their needs, maybe they want something that you're not selling in the company, and in this case you can become very innovative, and you try, maybe you have methods and you have capital to decide on how maybe you can develop a certain product that customers are interested with. So after then that will become a way of maybe generating more money, becoming more profitable, such kind of things. So big data may open the opportunity for companies in any sector. So companies that directly use big data gather valuable information that is decided by other companies as well. So we're also talking of big data. Another advantage, improving public health. So the improved ability to gather and analyze a massive amount of information, a massive amount of data, hospital data, patients, or even wants and the needs of public has allowed experts to develop methods and processes that will more responsive to public needs. For example, we are trying to see how we can become efficient when it comes to delivering the service, the quality of services that we deliver as a hospital. So then store this amount of information in a very good place where it can be retrieved very fast, and it will become very easy for all these processes to be efficient in this case. The other slide is more about advantages, is about improving our daily environment. So in this case, we are talking of we are trying to say like how many trash cans are needed in the street, on the street. For example, what number of street lamps is needed, so at what point in the day traffic jam occur. These are the questions that are usually answered by big data, because these are information that if we have certain cameras or satellite that are collecting these informations, or fitted cameras that are collecting this information, um, we can answer these questions based on the data. So these are the questions that can be answered by the data, and they can give us and then the data, when it is analyzed, can give a solution to these problems. Then we have an example here. We have Portland, Oregon has used big data to reduce their carbon oxide emissions. So this is about air pollution. This Portland state, they're using big data to help them reduce what you're calling the air pollutions. So even the police department, we have as another example, police department of Memphis, Tennessee, has reduced the serious crimes rate in the area by 30%. So in this case, because they are collecting a amount of information in this state, so they're able to maybe use fitted cameras that they are very sensitive. They are monitoring your movements, and if you commit any crimes, you are able to be captured. So if they need to get you, it will take seconds or even minutes to come and get you. So in this case, it make this kind of crime rate to reduce by 30% in this state. So improving decisions, so we just said about it, it helps us to speed accuracy, to speed the accuracy. So regardless of the industry, and no matter what the final target might be, may it be increased security, revenue, or healthcare, the existence of big data let us respond faster. True. So it help us to make quick and easy and the best decision ever, because if you have data, you have access to everything. Because if you analyze data, you can be able to torture it and give you the right maybe conclusions based on it. So in this case, we're saying like your conclusion must be based by facts. Yep, you must use your facts to make a conclusion. In this case, we have another one where we're talking of personalized product and services. So company develop products based on what they think customers may buy. I've already explained about it. So you have to come up with a product depending on the customer's taste and preferences. Now that this is the advent of big data, companies are better able to find out about people interests and preferences. Yeah, as I said, so we are trying to say, if companies, let's know the companies that will become successful is those companies that they are collecting massive information about their customers, and they are able to use that amount of information for their advantage. So if you analyze the customers' information, you're able to understand what is not good for them, what is good for them, and if you're able to understand even what they want, you'll be in an innovative process where you can come up with your own product that can be used to put the company's growth to the next level. So just a minute. Okay, the other one is about one of the services that says great use today is Google Trends, allowing companies to find what people are searching for on the world wide web, so which is www. So in this case, we're trying to say like we have people who are all researchers. Let me call them researchers. They just use Google Trends to identify what people are searching mostly in the thread. So in this case, you can be able to identify the kind of products these people they're trying to look for, and it can help this data can help you to come up with an innovative way or an innovative product that customers are interested with. So that is another example. So this shows us that data is very important. So if you have data, you can be able to even control how the countries are learning some such kind of things. So these details allow companies to develop personalized products and the services that are even more responsive to customers' needs. So you come up with a product that will impress the customers. So the other one is about because we say like everything that has what we call advantages, there must be disadvantages in this case. So we have disadvantages, all kinds of big data. Number one is privacy. When a lot of data is available, there is insecurity in this case. So the big data collect personal data, so, and these allow companies to try numerous things about an individual user. So these enable marketers to use knowledge to sell product by manipulating the subconscious of unsuspecting users. So we're trying to say like you find like companies having information, the companies know more about you, and you're like they're wondering or guessing like what happened, these guys know my taste or what I like. So this is because maybe these guys got a chance to to steal your data. They have maybe authority with your data, such kind of things. So big data tells marketers so much about us. So company can even tell what color of a product. As I was saying, like you find that company is trying to sell you personalized product, which are related to what you like, maybe your taste or your preferences, and rather like most of the time I buy maybe um what do we call it, a certain type of shoe, and then you find that you bought it online, and these guys maybe Alibaba, and these guys they try to uh, send you another type, a new brand of shoe, maybe Nike. So this is because you purchase something from them, so they have your information, they have your data, and they know your taste. So next time they just send you maybe a notification informing they have a new product which you might like to purchase. So in that case, if you had money, it will be prompted to buy it. So such kind of things. Then we have big brothers. So this is another story. So we know that the government observers and carry certain activity to ensure that we are kept in check. So this is more about the government, how government is using cameras and the AI and all other like satellites to capture information about human beings and how they are doing their things in cities, major cities. And this is one of the way to reduce what we call in the crime rates, all those kind of cases. So through many dismissed days, even the most moderate of us know and understand government really collect data, a lot of personal data also, because right now if you want to get into government resources or the government offices, you don't need to enter all your information, they just need your ID. So if you just enter your ID, they're able to print all information related to you. So in the most American cities, one cannot walk more than a few streets without being caught in the camera. So most, if not all of our devices such as phones or even cars, they have GPS signals that an scrupulously entity may be able to take advantage of it. So even satellite footage has become more accessible to government, begging the questions: are we ever really alone? So this is the main question: are we ever really alone? For example, when you walk in the major city, for example in Nairobi, are you really major alone in this case? Because you might be walking like you think you're alone, but there are people who are monitoring your movements and everything that you are doing. But this mostly is in the developed country, remembering that in Africa we are still behind in this case. But it's time we step up and we try to see how we can benefit from these AI and big data thing. So another disadvantages is about streamlining entrepreneurships. So smaller businesses are not banned from using big data. So in this case, it's like we're trying to compare the small businesses and the big businesses at the same time. So small businesses, they are not banned from using big data, far from it. However, with the sheer number of resources and the capacity larger corporations can bring to bear, it's well nigh impossible for small business. So in this case, you're trying to say, like, compare the small business and the big business when it comes to big data and how to utilize it. Large corporations, they have advantage because they have resources, they have well-equipped data scientists who have knowledge about how to use data, how to analyze it, and how to make the best decisions. So we are also talking of one of the methods that a small businesses has always had access to in order to compete in the personalization of their services and products. I have already talked about this. One of the methods that small businesses has already, so because you say, just imagine that small business and big business, like small corporations and also big large corporations, they are doing the same businesses. Like for example, they are doing marketing and the other kind of maybe they even hiring processes. So the model for small company, it is not that much big or that much efficient as compared to the large corporations, because small maybe corporation, they lack some information or data as compared to large corporations. So just compare little that. So when they'll be maybe coming up with a model that you'll be used to be sent to customers for personalization of product, you may find that large corporations, they are much efficient, speed in terms of maybe even decision making will be faster because they have a lot of data, which large amount of information which is being processed very fast. So in this case, try to compare like small businesses and the big businesses, and also if you take the real example, you'll come to identify that this is real and is working in the cloud. So with the dozen or even hundreds of data scientists large corporations have at their disposal, they can easily sift through the extensive amount of data uh, to better target their market as compared to small businesses. So the next slide is about where big or small data training is necessary. So in this case, we are trying to see who can be or who are supposed to be trained on how to handle the big data or the small data in this case. Sorry for that. Number one department is IT department. It is the members of the IT division that are able that beside the direct colleagues with an needing or what you call uh, you needing complaints about the inefficiency of departments and systems. So well-trained IT staffs by these keys fully understand the value of their system and optimize its usage to benefit the companies or the organization productivity, because you have these guys IT department, if they are not equipped on how to handle this big data or any data in these keys, you might find that company is not that productive. So product development team also need to be equipped with this training, big data training or data science training. For example, since they are not only creating the product but also engineering the existing merchandise. So because in this case, before even you introduce a new product to the market, you have to do A/B testing. So you have to understand what has been happening to the existing merchandise and also the product that we want to replace it with. So you must do a lot of analysis, you must introduce statistics, so you must be equipped on how to use data analytics in this case. So this is a huge responsibility since the future of companies directed by this department of IT. So failure to the product can lead to the failure of the organization, definitely. The other one is finance department. Why do we need to train the finance guys on how to handle big data or even data itself? So number one is to improve decision making, because data provide finance professionals with a vast amount of information that can be analyzed to make informed decisions. Maybe for example, the who to give loan and who to deny a loan. With access to this data, finance professional can identify patterns, trends, and the correlation that might not otherwise have been noticed. So this can lead to better decision making, such as when it comes to investment strategies and risk management. In this case, you're able even to identify the best route to follow to maybe the one that with minimal risk as compared to others. So it has a risk management. Big data can help finance professionals identify and mitigate risk more efficiently. For example, they can use data analytics to identify potential fraud or cyber threats and the step to prevent or mitigate this risk at the moment. So we are talking of the other department is human resource management. I also talked about this at the beginning when we talked of hiring processes, how things they are now becoming easier when it comes to hiring. So big data can help HR professions identify and attract top talents more effectively, by analyzing data from various sources such as social media, job boards, and employee referrals. HR can identify the most qualified candidate for certain positions. So big data can help HR professionals understand what motivate employees and keep them engaged. So big data can help HR professionals evaluate employer performance in this case more accurately by analyzing data on key performance metrics. So these are just advantages of how big data can bring this kind of importance in human resource department. So human resource department needs to be um, need to be trained on how to use the big data or even a small data. In this case, we also have another department, we are calling in the supply and logistic department. So this helps professional forecast more accurately the demand of the company, for example, because these are guys who are really suited on what maybe the company might be needing in the next maybe 2 years, in the next month, what the company needs to have in supply. So by analyzing data on historical sales, market trends, and other factors, data science can identify patterns and make predictions about the future demand. So risk management also. So training help professionals manage risk more efficiently by analyzing data on weather patterns, because we'll be able to understand when we expect to have a rain in this case, and then they decide maybe the kind of transport will be used in this case, to ensure that customers get the goods on the right time. Also geographical events, and also the political scenario in the country, such kind of things. By analyzing data on supplier performance, delivery times, and other factors, data training can identify which suppliers are most reliable and the most efficient in this case. So that is supply and logistic department. The last one is marketing department. So this is mostly what I've been talking about, and this is my department. This is mostly where I deal with most of the time, working with customer information or customer insights. So data training can help marketers gain deeper insights into the customers, because in this case, if you're able to identify maybe the customer needs, in this case you'll be able to come up with the product that customers want, or even you're able to understand the customer's complaints or dislikes. In this case, you'll become able to come up with a solution to this problem, and in this case you'll attract more customers to your company because you're delivering the right processes, not only by just making your own conclusion, by basing your conclusion from maybe the data after analysis by facts, supported by facts. So by analyzing data on customer demographics, behavior, and preferences, marketers can become better, understand their target audience, and develop more efficient market strategies. You can be able even to identify maybe your target audience. For example, this case we talk of demography or even age, demographics. Like for example, you'll be able to identify that the age between 18 and 30, these are the guys who are purchasing most of the fashion things, electronic things. So you'll be able to know how to target them. So age 31 to 40, they are buying most construction material, households, or personal things, such kind of things. 50 and above, 41 and above, that kind of thing. So you're able to use this information for your benefit and to know how to sell best your product. So by analyzing data on competitors' marketing strategies, pricing, and other factors, the marketer can identify opportunity to differentiate themselves and gain competitive advantages. In this case, we're trying to say you want to understand how your competitors are performing and the ways that you can introduce to your companies to ensure that you are remain competitive for the best organization or businesses in the industry, in the market. This is the last slide. We have talked a lot, I've explained a lot of things. I was just touching them. So the other things that we are going to explain in the future as we proceed with the presentation.